Glody, Lilepo, Maccabi, Thabo, Cele, the two most important players may be on their way out from Kaizer Chiefs. It's scary, Bafetu, because Kaizer Chiefs haven't even signed any other player apart from Umle Sane. That were confirmed, then Ronaldo nailed it. So they've just signed two signings and they already are losing two attackers. Welcome back to channel. As you can see there on the pinned comment of my last video, we've changed the name. It's now Mshini Talks Football. And the slogan is Thanking Yabonga. So for all the guys who have been supporting the video, we're chasing 1,000 subscribers. We're at 963, I believe. We just have 40 plus minus or so subscribers to reach 1,000. So Ntana Yobong, and appreciate the guys who have been on this journey until now. Now, coming to all things Kaizer Chiefs, especially to the video, which I'm going to talk about a bit later on into the video. I want to stick on brand a bit because preseason is ongoing at the moment. Ne? That's number one. Number two is we are looking at how far Kaizer Chiefs has gone from last season until now, and what are the takeaways in terms of improvements, player acquisition, recruitment, coaching, development. Who are they promoting? All these things. Because remember, they've turned the corner from last season at reaching number 3, from actually firing Unabi and actually using the co-coaching system so they can reach that stage. And obviously, they qualified for CAF, which now, again, consecutively they did through the league. So you would expect them to protect their star players. I can say ball players, people who of consequence, who have clutch, and most of the time who bail us out when we actually need something going. So now what they do is they dismantle the co-coaching. They don't renew their contracts. We've had Khalil in an interview, Nokaza giving us an idea of what's really going on the Kaizer Chiefs. And now they've hired, obviously, Fernando de Cruz with his own technical team. Dylan Shepard also gets promoted from the DDC. So the only player that we know of is Mulesa, a free agent. Didn't renew with his Stellenbosch, and Ronaldo Lina from his Kukune, who didn't renew as well. I could say technically they are free agents. The worry that I have is that I guess with the 2 games that we saw from the preseason, okay, we saw this only one because the other one we had to watch remotely. We were watching live scores. They've played 3 games so far. They've drawn 2 against number 1 Rangers, number 2. It was, which other team did they draw against? The Al Khaloud. And now with this one, they lost against FC Alke. What I just appreciate across the board is that all these teams play in the first division of their leagues. Al Khaloud plays in Saudi Pro League. Nabu El Nasir, where Ronaldo plays. Abu Al Hilal, very serious clubs. They play in the first division. Rangers, they are the previous champions. They play. I think they've qualified at some point for the Champions League, if not Europa. Campaigners, and they've won the league before. And also FC Alca plays in the La Liga. It's a familiar name, So they've been playing against proper opposition. So that's something we're trying to look into. Are they trying really to improve in terms of gameplay and what they have? But now, coming to the story of the thumbnail and what we're here to talk about. There's players who have been left behind. Reasons are different. One could be injuries. The others could be, are they renewing or their future is uncertain. So 2 players across the board, which is Lilepo, Thabo, Cele. These guys have been instrumental. If you remember Cele when he came through, I think we figured January in 25, where we actually were looking for a 6 and an 8. And Chiefs were in disarray. We needed a leader, a player that can really give us, a ball-playing kind of 6 or even an 8. And Cele comes in and becomes a significant figure in that midfield before Mabue. And he becomes the standout player that we can rely on. I remember performance against Sundowns, I think. at the time. I think in Tempocila Kulumfana was the change of coachings or coaches rather, and he came late into the season and also injury. So he has never had a good time because it's a rebuild, unfortunately. Lilep as well comes in, starts knocking goals, becomes now one of the guys that we rely on. He's tall, he's bold, he can shoot both left and right. And last season, I think, is his breakout season for Lilepo, where he becomes one of the key guys that we use, Kukef, and also I think he scores very important goals for us. League as well, and Kukef. You know, we almost qualified. Number 3, but it was towards the last day where it was going up and down, and if we drew that game, it could have been something different. This is where we are. So I'm half-hearted, Marcos, because now remember, Lilepo, it seemed like it's a good deal because it's close to about 20 million. It's in the range of 16.2 million. Apparently, a Libyan giant, Al Ali Benghazi, has made an offer to Kaizer Chiefs, which is probably an offer they kind of refuse. But the worry is, are we replacing him anyway? Have we identified a replacement for this guy? And if at all, because January with the scouting, I'm sure they should have been going around watching the World Cup, these other tournaments, Abu Kef, Abu Kosafa, going around Google Confed and all these things, so they can identify if they do happen to sell them. Because I'm expecting, as a fan, when these clubs inquire, they inquire maybe before the season ends. Indaba kaThabo Cele also has been very, very offish because at some point he was part of the squad, he would disappear. There was murmurs and stories about him not being good with the coaches. He was not injured at all at some point, and he comes back. And now there's stories flying around in terms of he still is contracted to Kaizer Chiefs. But we don't understand why these two players haven't been joining us pre-season Spain. And now with these stories, definitely, Marcos, it seems like Lilepo and Cele are not going to be joining us in the new season. Seems like they are on their way out. The other one is good. The other one could be a sad story that we can never get the full picture of what really happened between the relationship of Kaizer Chiefs and Cele. Now, to leave it here, or to maybe dwell on this subject in a different POV. For me, the worry that I have, as much as the transfer season is still, it closes in September, right? But I feel Kaizer Chiefs is still making the same mistake all season long with the new coachings that they keep identifying and appointing versus how they identify players in preseason. Because they're going to be under the same trap again if they really are serious about challenging any honors. Slalium 10-8 before the league starts. Again, you're going to have players are going to be signed that the coaches needs to integrate into the team. They're working with players. Some of them are getting injured. For example, Marco is getting injured. That guy, anyways, Marco is getting injured. I think there's other players who we thought are going to be released. Their contracts are being renewed. So everything is it's done a tad too late, and with 2 weeks left, and in the following now Sunday they are playing East Scotland, their last preseason. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it would be their last preseason game, unless they're playing another one in Lesotho. I think there's another game that they've secured in whether it's Swaziland or Lesotho, one of the giants there at that side. So I don't really play too much into that game. But Leia Toyota Cup maybe would give us more of an idea what kind of gameplay, philosophy the coach himself, Fernando de Cruz, really is about. But watching from this preseason last game here, Elke, it's a quality side, but I think it's more or less what Khalil and Kazi were applying. I don't know if there's tempo or intensity in their game, because the one thing that I identified and I saw as well was the fact that he was using players similar to what Kaz and Khalil were doing. He was playing Solomon's wing. I think it's more of a right wing back as his position, would be he would change certain positions. Machine would play an 8 versus 10. At some point, I wasn't too sure about that. Uthatha umfundo amfaka left. I don't know what the preseason sometimes it's all about confusing us as fans or the opponents who are watching these clips to really trying to know what the Kaizer Chiefs is all about. Shout out to Arsenal Velapai, no Chislet. They've had a good preseason. We've been hearing good things about them. Whenever they are on, there's a positive impact, and these are signings that we haven't seen from last season in Parkman. I don't know if Kaizer Chiefs, that's their thinking, maybe some of the players that we want them to sign, they didn't have a good last season. They didn't play as much and they were not given minutes. That's the scare because it looks a bit thin in terms of quality in regards to what they have. And already with what they had last season, if certain players like Cele and Lilep are leaving, I don't know if it's time to press the panic button, Makosi. That's what I've packaged and prepared for you guys this week in regards to Kaizer Chiefs. There's a lot of things that are unclear. No one knows anything. No one is too sure. We just know about these two stories that are coming out at the moment. You, I think, hear this week through publications with Lilepo, or themselves, Lilepo and Cele, maybe on their way out. But I just want to hear from yourselves. What do you guys think? Are Kaizer Chiefs moving differently in terms of maybe there's something that we don't know? Maybe we expect too much from a big club. We are too impatient at times. Or is it fair on us to think the way we are thinking? To start thinking with maybe Abu Junior and the board and everyone else, they are still making the same mistakes. Even though they were appointed to CEO, we're expecting a lot of things to kind of be different now. That's only the thing that I think may be going wrong for Kaizer Chiefs. But Sobona, I'm quite nervous in regards to these two stories that are coming out. If we're actually losing two important players and not having identified. I'm not saying they're not going to replace them. And if they have identified, they need to sign players that are going to give you the same numbers, especially coming from Unjengo Lilep. Yeah, so that's Umishini, that's me. I think in Bone on the next episode or in the next video that I'm going to drop. I'm waiting for your comment. As cool me Bafetu. Thank you.